Shalom Uvracha. Welcome to all. Tonight is Leil Rosh Chodesh Iyar. It should be the first day of Summer Zman. Should be ushering in now the new Zman, but unfortunately it's going to have to remain, at least for the time being, a virtual Zman. This week's Sedra is Taazria Metzora. The two parashas that we read together this Shabbos discuss at large the halachos and the particulars pertaining to Metzora, to leprosy. And there's various types of leprosies. The Medrash Tanchuma makes an observation about the leprosies in this week's Sedra and says that they have an ascending order. That first, the Rebbeinu Shalom brings on a person who's deserving of leprosy. He brings leprosy on their house. And if that isn't sufficient to cause them to do tshuva, only then does the Rebbeinu Shalom bring leprosy onto them. Do they get leprosy in their flesh, on their own body? There's a very apparent, a blaring question on this Medrash Tanchuma. If you'd ask most people, what would they rather? Would they rather to be sick for a week, have something on their body for a week? Or would they rather to lose their whole house? When leprosy strikes a house, eventually they end up having to destroy it. First, they have to move everything out of the house so it shouldn't become tummy. And then eventually they destroy the house. And only afterwards can they rebuild it. That's a huge headache. Can you imagine such a thing? Whereas, okay, so to be a leprosy, you go on vacation for a week. To have leprosy, you go on vacation for a week. What's so bad? The answer is that no. Losing somebody's house, losing something that they have, that people can deal with. But for somebody to be excommunicated, to have to leave the camp, to be quarantined for even a week, that's the worst thing that can happen to a person. Far worse than having their house demolished. That being said, right now, the world is being quarantined. Neighborhood after neighborhood, city after city, country after country is being placed on quarantine. Individuals who got the coronavirus or are diagnosed with it are totally excommunicated. They're put out of the camp, they're put into hotels or they're put in hospitals, and they're not allowed to come into contact with the outside world. If they're dying in the hospital, they're not able to be with their family. They're totally cut off and excommunicated. There's nothing worse than that. The Medrash Tanchuma is telling us that the Chumash is telling us, that the Rebbeinu Shalom tells us, this is the worst infliction I can bring onto a person, is for them to have a personal infliction that's going to excommunicate them. Yiratzon if they Adin Kyle may be the will in front of the master of the world. This should be a complete and utter cleansing for the entire world. The Rebbeinu Shalom should say enough and not allow for us to be inflicted with anything more ever again. The Haftarah for Parashas Metzora talks about the Arba Metzorim. So Arba Metzorim is a whole ganze Maisa, but they were sent out in a machana. They ended up being the heroes. So sometimes we think when we're excommunicated, or we think when we're in a matzav where there aren't the shuls and there aren't the batei midrashas and there aren't mikvahs and there aren't so many different things which are so crucial to Yiddishkeit, to Kedusha, to Tahira, to Talmud Torah, to Tefillah, to everything And that chesed is something which is so difficult to do the way we usually do it. You can't be machnas orchim. At such a point in time, each and every one of us might have the opportunity to be the world's heroes. We can't give up now. We have to realize that in these desperate moments, sometimes lies the greatest opportunities for each and every one of us individually. May we each find those uplifting opportunities, and may we be zeich to come out of this or gadol and to do immense things and to bring immense goodness to the world. Amen v'amen. Good Shabbos.